Open to July 22nd, 2021 Planning Board meeting. First item and only item on the agenda is site plan review for Dennis Lazard, owner, Obashan Realty, Inc., 455 South Stark Highway, map 412, lot 214. This is a continued application from a month ago, I believe. Yesterday, we received a letter from Keach Nordstrom Associates reviewing the drainage, and you have a copy of that, you said?
I do, yep.
Okay.
Cool. Good evening. For the record, I'm Matt Bombasi with Boulder Engineering here. Is Eamon Moran with Obashan Realty Company, who's the applicant and prospective owner. We last met with the board on the 24th of June and saw everybody last Thursday at the site walk. If it's good with the board, I just have 4 items that I have from the last hearing and from the site walk that were kind of outstanding items that the board asked us to look into. The first one, there was a request to list the owners or provide that list on the plans. So what we plan on doing is adding a list to the cover page right near the signature block of the plan, where it just says the proposed use is anticipated to be a general retail goods store, automotive parts sales, or hardware store. Other uses may require additional review at the discretion of the Ware Planning Board. It's to do with the parking waiver and things that we did. So just put that right on the plans next to the signature, so there's no mistake. If anyone did come in, you think the building official would send you to the planning board anyways, but if it's on the plans, it just cements it a little bit more. The lighting, there was a question about lighting at the site walk, and I indicated that all site lighting will be turned off a half hour after store closing, except for maybe a couple of security lights on the building. Our request was to add that note to the plan. I think we're more than amenable to add that note to the plan. The third one was a question about building color that came out at the last hearing, and at the site walk in particular, at the top of the building where there had been a navy blue color along the top that some thought maybe wasn't quite as earthy or keeping with the area. We talked to Eamon and the architect, and he was amenable to change the color, so we've gone up with just a dark bronze color up the top, which is a little less.
That definitely looks better than the blue.
Yep, yeah, we didn't have a strong preference either way, so we were happy to do that. So we're amenable to that request. The fourth one is the Keach Nordstrom stormwater peer review. We did receive that letter. I got it today, so I wasn't able to provide the revised set of plans. But we did go through the letter in pretty good detail. There's a few details, notes, things that they requested to be on the plans. Nothing that's going to appreciably change the design or really any of the line work, more just details and things like that. If the board's amenable, we'd be happy to address those as a presumptive condition of approval, and include that in the final set that we submit to the board for signatures. There was nothing in here we thought was problematic or changed anything. And I'd be happy to go through these one by one. I just don't want to put the board to sleep if that's something you don't want.
Hope we don't have to do that.
Okay.
Anybody from the board have any questions, comments? I have a comment / question. I don't know if we can do anything about it. So the parking, let's just say for some reason, a year after you open up, suddenly it's obvious you don't have enough parking. Instead of 32, you do need 40. What mechanism do we have to go knock on the door and say, hey, put in some more parking?
I mean, Eamon, tell me if this is something you're not comfortable with, but I think a note on the plans that says, green back parking to be constructed if needed at the discretion of the Ware Planning Board. I don't know if that's strong enough or weak enough.
I don't even know if we need to do that. I'm just wondering what we do.
Oh.
In my experience, which is, I think, a fair amount of experience with this specific subject, we've always offered the additional parking at the request, and we've done it 0 times. We would do it, no one ever comes to requesting, because we know what the hardware store needs, we know what the dollar or general store needs, we know what the auto parts stores need. We know exactly more than what we're gonna even build here. So I'll offer it, but we've never had to build it because no one ever ends up coming. And that's might be dozens of projects we've done over the last few decades. So
In the future, we should think about that a little more somehow. I'm not gonna worry about it.
we don't like over parking, right? It doesn't make any sense. For
No.
anyone.
No sense having.
No sense having
So
tenants.
that's why we're asking
building
for the
tenant-
waiver.
yeah, right.
And I doubt, I bet betting man would bet that you guys don't come in and ask us to make that parking. We can make it, but I don't think you're gonna make us.
I'm not asking you to make it, I'm just saying, what would happen if we asked? I mean, not, I'm,
If I
how-
owned it,
how-
which
how
I
would-
don't own it, I would build it.
how-
That's what I'm telling you,
how would
do.
we force somebody to build this, guess what I'm saying?
Well, isn't what paragraph 2 there, where it talks about 11 additional spaces?
Yeah,
So I thought, I remember in the original plan, they had said that there was an area set up for those 11
right,
spaces.
Oh, yeah,
they're there.
They could-
They're-
You're really asking what the mechanism by which we would build those.
Yes,
yeah.
If I'm the owner, they're gonna get built.
I mean, if you have people parking on 114, I assume they're gonna build the parking spaces. That would be my assumption, but I don't know that. But anyway, it's just something for the future, it's really not related to you, because 32 parking spaces should be plenty, I agree, for either one, but it's just something to think about for
Mhm.
later.
But I think by him putting the use down that is approved, that if they
Right.
expand the use and they come back, we can say, look, that's gonna require X amount parking
We
spaces.
want 11 more parking spaces.
Right.
Right.
And Matt had mentioned that there's a supermarket in there that might be a day,
Right,
I don't know, 2 decades from today.
Yeah.
That if there's a supermarket in there you guys might have, it might be in the best interest to have those spaces. But
Exactly, yeah.
the uses that
But-
Matt's offering outliner.
To be honest with you, that's kind of a small building for a supermarket, I don't think
Yeah.
you're gonna have,
Never know, you know,
Yeah.
they're getting smaller these days.
They are, yeah.
Jamming more stuff in there, the Trader Joe's of the world.
yeah.
But, we're not talking to the Trader Joe's.
yeah, Chuck.
You know what concerns me, is your possible uses. You could throw a rock across Route 114 and hit the next auto parts store, and it's only a couple miles to a hardware store. So something's going to come down that isn't going to work well for somebody. I don't think that it's a good plan to have either one of those types of stores at that location. And, I mean, you know, these stores, by and large, have had a tough year or more, and it's still tough, just getting materials. So I don't think we're doing any big favors to our existing stores to okay a hardware store or an auto parts store at that site. The other use, which was kind of a general,
General retail goods
Yeah.
store, yeah.
it would seem like, you know, that would probably work well. So, I mean, I am concerned about that.
Yeah, and again, the uses are permitted by right. We have no idea what Eamon will ultimately settle in on, but I know people a lot smarter than me do the studies, the market studies, to make sure there's a market share for whatever use ends up coming in.
It's no different than when Dunkin' Donuts moved in.
Pardon?
It's no different than when Dunkin' Donuts moved in. And everybody loves Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, that's true. There was a similarity.
Anybody from public have any comments, questions, concerns? Close it for public comment.
There was one subject I want to talk about
Okay.
in Keach's letter, is number 8.
Yep. So that's the asphalt pavement section?
Yeah,
So, Eamon's actually had his geotechnical engineer go out and do their borings and things, so we'll be getting that report sometime in the near future. Usually we won't include a section because the geotech engineer will give us a recommendation specifically based on what they found on their soil evaluation for what the minimum, courses and things should be.
Yep.
So we'll include that on our final plans, but we usually wait for our recommendation from the geotechnical engineer. So be happy to put a pavement spec on the end, and I think we'll have it pretty shortly. We'll have that report that we can add it. We don't want to guess. Sometimes there's an unsuitable condition where you need more granular base underneath or things like that. So we want to go with the design section.
I mean, it looks like number 8 pretty much is our road spec, isn't it?
Pretty much, yes.
Looks like a fairly typical spec.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little strong for a private parking lot.
Yeah, I can guess that the geotechnical engineer probably is going to come with something a little less than that, particularly the
The 12 inches.
Yeah, but they design it for the axles and for full loading, so they'll give us the sections that we need in the DOT specs.
Depends how much truck traffic you get in there.
Yep, yeah, usually we'll do the parts that the truck uses, a heavy-duty, thicker section,
Right.
and then some of the
That-
parking
That's what's
spaces
gonna
as
depend
well.
on what base you need.
Right, but the whole parking lot doesn't have to be typically, I don't know. That's what I thought when I was reading it.
Do we call that out on the plans, a separate, for even like the general contractor plans, separate sections of asphalt?
Yep, yeah, we do,
We're not
yep.
gonna over asphalt them.
Nope. Yep.
Our geotech it's here in Weir, right? Geotechnical services.
No, GSI, yeah.
Yeah, GSI,
Harry-
yeah,
yeah.
Harry Weatherby.
Harry
Harry?
Weatherby, yep.
Harry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
okay. Putting it back together right now.
Any other comments, questions?
Could you, he had one thing in here about some break in the berm or something that he mentioned
Yep.
Breaking the curb,
in the curb, yeah.
yes.
So we're talking is, I think he's referring to right through here. So we
Okay.
have a break in the curb instead of putting a catch basin there. Instead of putting a catch basin there, we put a break in the curb with a riprap slough going down into the sediment forebay.
Mhm.
So if I'm understanding the comment, he just wants us to reinforce that a little bit more and clearly show, defined, I guess, berms on either side to direct the water through.
Okay,
Just a little extra detail to clarify it.
That runs from the cut in the curb.
Cutting the curb down into the basin, yep. And actually reading the comment again, I think he's suggesting like a small, like little check dam at the bottom of that
yeah, I think he
slope
wants
coming
something to
down
slow
in.
the flow down.
Right.
Yeah, so when it hits it, it doesn't scour the bottom, which
Yeah.
makes good sense to me.
Any other questions or comments? You just gonna sit here all night?
Well, what do we want to do about the, were you gonna add something about the, on a detail sheet about the pavement from the geotech?
Yep, yeah, our plans already have a detail for the pavement section with a reference to the geotechnical report.
Okay.
We're just waiting for the geotechnical report to actually add the depths, but we're happy to add that in the final set that's signed. We'll have that very shortly. We just didn't want to guess it at the depths.
Is that something we can condition, or is that something we need to see once it gets here?
I was gonna let Keach see it. Let Keach okay it, the final plans.
Okay.
I got 4 things: lights off at half hour after closing, septic approval, DOT, and Keach.
Keach final
Happy
approval.
letter from Keach.
Yeah,
That
that'll,
takes 2 pages too, of course, but.
that'll do it. But I think
We can make a,
do we need to relay to Keach that,
yes. I can send Keach an email saying that we would, well,
If it'd be helpful, when we give the revised plans, we can provide a response letter. It just outlines all their comments and responses, so it'll be easy for them to see what we did, and then he can respond back if he thinks it's appropriate or not.
I'm trying to think of why we would need more structural base in the parking lot. There shouldn't be very many trucks going in there, that's for sure.
no, they might nose in to get backed up to the door
they're
in
gonna-
the,
they're
in the
gonna-
end row.
Right, they're gonna pull in where the stripes are to back up.
Right.
They aren't gonna park down between the trees or anything like that.
No, they can't make the corner down
Right.
there. With that tree right there. At least I don't think they can.
Yep, yeah, if helpful, we did run truck simulations to make sure a truck, we do the largest size truck, a WB67, he can come in, he uses this area here to kind of straighten himself in and then back
Right.
out there, and they can come out
Right.
this way. So
Right.
that's,
But he's not
that's the
gonna-
only.
But they won't be going around the outside end of the parking
They
lot,
won't,
because they
won't be,
won't, they
go-
won't
won't be
clear that
going,
tree.
He'll need
won't
help
be
if he
going
tries
between
it.
the,
Yeah.
you can't go between the two trees to back up.
Yep,
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
yep.
Or really, it's just the T-shaped thing for where the trucks are gonna be.
Can we give Keach a copy of the minutes and point out to him that the board would request him to look into what's the word I want?
He works very closely with GSI.
He what?
He works closely with GSI.
No. I was gonna say, I don't think that we need the same structural for the parking lot as the truck turn and the truck way, entranceway. We need to, the board should somehow get that info to Keach. But I'm sure Harry's gonna say that in his report, and you're gonna say that in your report, but
Right.
I'll say in the letter, I can refer
Yeah.
to the report, I can even attach that section to it so you can see it.
even say we thought the same thing.
Got it.
And if Keach has any questions, he knows my email address, my phone number, and all that kind of stuff, so.
I'll say, talk to him.
How's that?
Yeah.
Okay. We can work with that.
I just,
You just have to say it, because I don't know truth. I can't read your mind, so. And say it loud into the microphone, please.
Again?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I'm not making a motion. I'm hoping Bruce does.
I'll make a motion.
There we go. Feel like a dentist up here.
You got pliers?
No.
No.
Got some in the truck.
I'll make a motion that we approve the plan with the following conditions. There'd be a note in there about lights off half hour after store closing. Probably put that right near the hours of operation. Septic approval will be received from DES. The state driveway permit be received and the state not have any off-site improvements to make. And that we get a letter from Keach Nordstrom with their approval for the drainage and the parking lot, typical cross-section. And the parking lot typical cross-section, the truck traffic area needs to be more structural than the general parking area. The general parking area can be a lot less of a standard as far as the gravels, because it's not gonna get the load that the truck traffic area is.
Yep, yeah, and GSI referred to as heavy duty and light duty will be the terms they
Yeah,
use.
and as far as that, they might have a different spec for the asphalt there too, as well as the gravels, but I just wanna make sure Keach is aware of that, not the whole paved area is a single spec.
I don't mean to interrupt your motion, but the lights, just the one caveat is, some of the users want a security light. It's like on.
Yeah, let me clarify that. The light area is for the parking lot lights only. The lights on the building,
Most of them.
Will be
all
off.
Shut off except for
Like a
one
couple, yeah,
building
one on the front,
security
yeah.
one,
but, yeah, we're not gonna dictate which lights in the building can stay on, though, whichever ones you
I just
choose.
didn't want it to read like all lights
Yeah,
are shut off.
no,
I had to
we're,
figure out-
we're worried about the parking lot lights mainly for, because of the, you still have a residential abutter to the north of you there,
Absolutely.
and, and that, one other thing that no trees be cutting that buffer between that residential abutter and, I know you don't show any being cut, but just the
You mean the guy to the south?
north,
North.
This one here?
yeah,
Yeah, no, our limited tree clearing starts somewhere
Right.
just through there. Yeah.
the south, I mean, it's got every single tree shown on the south side, so that's all on the plan, the other one's just shown as like a tree line.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Sorry, you can't.
I know that.
That's why I looked at you and said, whoops. Discussion. I'm not sure about the no cutting on the north side, because if there's a couple trees they gotta cut, I don't know if there's a couple trees they have to cut, I should say.
We do show, I guess it's a little vague what the north side means. I'd say, how about no additional tree cutting other than what's shown on the limits on the plans? And then I wouldn't expect that they're gonna go
Yeah.
much outside of that.
I think there was one big dead one.
Yeah, it was in the back. But, yeah, that's fine. I mean, just don't go beyond the limits of the plan.
How about the surveyor lay out the edge of the clearing prior to start of construction?
I think
I didn't hear the request.
a survey, just have the
Lay
limit
out the edge of clearing.
surveyed so they know not to cut up all the way to the residential abutter. Just have that staked out.
On the north side?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Can you remember that, Matt?
I'll write it down.
Preferably no, well, you gotta revise your motion, he has to accept it, but I would prefer a note in the plan stating that way everybody, a note in the plan stating that so that everybody sees it and,
I'll add a note to the plans.
yeah, just so nobody forgets it.
I'll revise my motion regarding the tree cutting, that a note be added to the plan that the survey to lay out the limits of the tree cutting there prior to construction.
Agreed. Any further discussion? You can discuss. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstain? Congratulations, you're approved 3-1.
Just a point of business, should we vote on the conditional use permit
Oh,
separately? or-
jeez. Yes, we have a conditional use permit, I forgot about that. I wasn't here that day.
I know. I'll make a motion, we accept the conditional use, we approve the conditional use permit as requested for the parking.
The conditional use permit is for impervious coverage in the.
For the, yeah, impervious coverage.
Being over 10%, yes.
Because
Second? Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Okay, congratulations again.
Awesome, thank you very much. I've enjoyed working with the board.
You get Keach's note and stuff taken care of, we'll get the plans in, and Naomi can give me a text or call or something, I'll swing in and sign them in a couple of days anyway on the way home.
Yeah, just let me know how many copies you need once we get them.
Good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And I did look into that, that sign next door with the pine tree and it appealed to heaven, because we had talked about the planning board. It actually has, I think, a little bit to do with the pine tree symbol.
Oh,
I'm aware, so
okay.
It goes back to the Revolutionary days, but.
Jeez, have a little pandemic and somebody steals my trash can.
You can take that too. I probably got more.
I know I do. Thanks. We have minutes to approve, but I did not look at June 24th. Oh, that's when I wasn't here. No, I was here. Okay, I wasn't here.
You weren't here.
Good. So I didn't look at them.
Here,
If anybody
oh,
needs
wait,
it.
I may need them, hold on a second.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the notice. Did we do June 10th yet? No, we didn't approve any minutes last time.
Yeah, what are you doing?
You weren't here the 24th, so we probably got to approve the 10th too.
No, no, I think you, if you look at the 24th,
How about the 10th? Did we approve the 10th? Oh,
yeah,
Well,
you
can-
did do the 10th on the 24th.
Oh, you're so efficient,
Yeah, the
Bruce.
24th and the 15th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
did, he send us one for the 15th?
Yep, with the agenda. Oh, actually, you wanna see the 15th? It's a one-pager.
Probably pretty much what I sent her,
Yeah,
right?
it's
I
exactly
didn't,
what
I
you
didn't
said.
see the 15th.
I sent you a copy.
Thanks, Matt.
No, it looked like it outlined, didn't it?
Thanks.
Looks good to me. Oop. We're looking at June 24th.
Move to accept June 24th minutes?
Do we have a second?
I'll sec, check seconds.
Chuck seconds. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, I'm gonna abstain just for the sake of abstaining. Hey, make you type more.
I'm not typing a
Oh,
thing.
okay. And the other item is the site walk, July 15th minutes.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Discussion? I would say our secretary probably would have done a better job with those minutes, but they're okay. I think they're acceptable. All those in favor?
I don't know.
It's
You
a
should have said that after.
3 or 4.
Aye,
That's 4.
I don't know what Bruce voted yet.
I did, aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries.
I like the format. I'm gonna use that next time.
That's all you gotta do is get the point across, you don't have to put your
I passed it
discussions
that
on.
way.
No.
I don't have it. It went that way.
Doesn't matter.
What do you need?
The secretary's gonna keep it so he can use the format.
It's all right. No, you can use,
Yeah, you can
it's-
have this.
No, you can have it. I've got more upstairs, I'm sure. I just,
Well, it's still online.
yeah. Fine.
Anything else we gotta talk about, Naomi? I told my wife to be out here by 7:30. I guess I was, might be a little quick.
Question,
Yes,
on the parking thing,
yes.
would it be within the right of the planning board to put a statement in there, something to the effect of, if there are X number of days per year, per quarter, or whatever, that exceed the 30, or exceed probably some percentage, 80% of available parking?
Yeah, who's gonna police that? I don't think that.
Well, who's gonna police anything these
Yeah.
days, right? Even the police
The
don't
police are
wanna
gonna police it when they're parked out in Route 114.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess the answer would be no from an enforcement.
I think for the uses that they've detailed that it's gonna be limited to,
Well, I wouldn't see a problem, but my
Yeah.
brain gets going on the, oh, okay, so they say they'll build 11 spaces if they need to, but what triggers that?
it's not that hard to build them. I mean, they just have to
Yeah.
extend the parking lot up a little bit.
Right, they're gonna do the grading, everything, they're gonna be ready for them.
Right.
But you start looking at Ace Hardware in Goffstown and
Yeah, that-
Family Dollars everywhere, they don't have a lot more than 32 spaces.
No, Ace is a huge building, though.
No.
Look at the size of the
Yes. Oh,
building.
Yeah, they used to, yeah, much bigger.
Yeah,
Parking lot's not very big, but
Yeah, Edmonds
Yeah.
doesn't have 32 spaces.
they could use more. It's-
I mean, even the interim store doesn't.
yeah.
It's got 2.
That's your assignment, think about that.
I mean, that's the same thing we discussed with the outdoor market at the end of Quaker Street, that they had potential of additional spaces in that island area, which they're presently using parallel parking.
Mhm.
But now it's Mudville, but they had that potential. And we didn't say, once you meet this limit. So,
Well, if there's no parking, it kind of takes care of itself.
right.
You can't park.
Well, I
you
can
can't-
see the 32 spaces being filled like a grand opening,
Yeah,
for whatever it might be, and I could see them parking on 114 for that possibly. Or they have special events, whatever, you know. When Harbor Freight's first opened, their grand opening was like, you couldn't get anywhere, and now, even now, their parking lot sales, there's nobody there, you know, because everybody kind of knows what they have to offer.
Mhm.
And they do enough promotions ahead of time, so you know you're buying, you're hunting, you're not shopping.
Right.
So,
Ben don't shop anyway.
No,
Well-
go to get something, we leave.
Right. I know what I
Well-
want, I go and get it and I get out.
depends on how you're brought up.
That's how I was brought up, get in and get out. There's too many people in here.
It does beg the question of what would be interesting to put there. You know, ultimately, if I had a vote, I'd say a Sam's. And I don't mean the Walmart Sam's, the outfitter Sam's,
Ah,
right?
Yeah.
Because there's not, you know, we
Right.
got a Dick's in Manchester and Concord, Bass Pro in Hudson, but we don't really have an outdoor.
Dick's doesn't
Yeah.
do anything.
No, they don't,
Or
unless you
running.
do golf or tennis.
Or running.
Bicycle.
We're looking for shoes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anyway.
Greg, your next meeting is your work session. Are you gonna have something together, or
I don't care.
it's up to you? I'm
Bruce is supposed to be looking into mixed use in the commercial district and possibly village district.
Just a reminder, that's all.
I know,
'Cause
that and my,
No, one's supposed to be looking at the
Rentals.
wetlands. No one's supposed to be looking at the
So I
wetlands.
wanted to add a thought to your thought about the short-term rentals being limited by
mhm,
septic space or approval,
mhm.
but also limited by parking space. Because some of those homes may have a party once a month with family, and they know they can park here, there, and everywhere. Whereas if you're renting it out, they don't know where to park. So should be limited to the parking provided, and that will take care of some of that additional foot traffic or people.
I think once you realize how few bedrooms those things are, to have septic approvals for, the
Right.
parking's gonna be self-regulating.
Right.
I mean, they
That's
just,
true.
you can only have 4 people there. How many cars are there gonna be there?
Well,
How are you
we
gonna
have
say
4
there's only allowed
cars.
4 people there?
Yeah, 4
Only
vans,
2 bedrooms.
Yeah, 4 vans full of people.
4 vans full of people.
Okay,
That's what I gotta come up with, Craig.
okay.
Every other town in the state is taking a different approach, and I'm not a fan of the way they're doing it.
It's hard.
Septic is the only reason it's an issue, in my opinion.
And that's
Especially on a waterfront property.
yeah.
Right. Any property, but especially waterfront.
But it's a public health issue that
Yep.
we can use to,
Gotta think it through,
yeah.
so that we don't
So we got 2 weeks.
do the snafu we did last fall.
Thanks.
So you got 2 weeks.
You pro-
I know.
Besides that, November's actually coming pretty quick. It's already, it's gonna be August here pretty soon. We done?
So we're gonna have a session on the 12th or not?
We should.
Yeah. That'll force Bruce and I both to do something. Right? That's how it works in the summertime. Like Chuck always said, we've gotta do this stuff in the spring, right? Anything big, you gotta do in April, May. Once June hits, everybody's busy doing other stuff, fun stuff.
So what are the 2 things that we're gonna be considering?
3.
Wetland buffer. Septics and rentals. And mixed use.
Mixed use, what's that? I mean, I know what it is.
Residential and commercial and same property.
Residential and
We
commercial.
already have that pretty,
Yeah, for a very limited area and very limited, yeah. We do have
Like, what
something.
would be wrong with that property that just walked out having a residences on top of it? It's not allowed. You can't do it, though.
Actually, that question popped up this week. Somebody that has a business and wanted to add a small addition, like a 1 apartment size, so that they could stay there at the business.
I think
But
it's a good
they
idea.
can't right now, it's commercial.
Right, I think it's a good
Well,
idea.
they could go apply for variance.
Right,
Right.
but they shouldn't have to go through that.
What did we do, that question came up when we discussed the doggy daycare.
Yes, we told them we couldn't do it without a variance.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't think is going anywhere, right? They cleared the lot, but
Right.
nothing's being built.
Yeah, I think that's a
I think the
pretty
pandemic,
good, that, not allowing that kind of thing is a limitation on people that are trying to start a business that they have to live there to make it pay for it,
Right.
you know?
Well, how does that work with that property next door where the food pantry used to be in South Cross and Bolton Field? I mean, there's residents above, and then they have that.
that's been grandfathered in for years.
Oh,
I think
okay,
they're all residents now, Bill.
right.
The whole building?
Even the front?
The last I knew they were.
I mean, way back
But they
when.
can go back and forth with that without
I think there's 2 or 3, I think
coming
there's 3
to us? There's 3 apartments upstairs and then,
So it's commercial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they shouldn't be able to go back and forth. Once you take something out of residential and make it commercial, you can't go back because
Shouldn't be.
well, multifamily residential is allowed in commercial zone, it's just not single family and duplexes, right?
right.
Right, so there's 3, so 3.
Okay.
So, multifamily, so they can bounce back and forth.
Again.
Still an allowed use, yeah.
Yeah.
The problem becomes when you only got 1 resident and it's in the commercial, it's not multifamily.
Right.
That's what you gotta work on.
And I don't see a problem not allowing duplexes and single families, but you gotta be able to, it only makes sense to have a building like that, those guys have it, put a,
Right.
slap two apartments upstairs.
Right.
To me, it makes sense. Especially in this economy we have right now, where nobody can find a place to rent.
And, I mean, somebody starting a business, they gotta own a house and the
Right.
business, I mean,
Sure.
Yeah.
it's a big ask.
Right, that's why I think the customer, when they called, they were looking at buying it, but to make it work for them, they needed a one-bedroom, kind of an apartment area
Attached to it. yeah.
attached to it, but right now,
So-
you don't offer.
With our current climate, do we come into mixed use with all these work-at-home people?
Well, no, I don't think so, because working home people are gonna be more like home businesses, they're not gonna have a shop, they're not gonna have a storefront.
Just
They'll have an office in the house, but,
an office in the house. I mean,
right, which is, you can do in any
I-
residence
I-
somewhere.
I guarantee you, my office in my house doesn't generate any traffic, or actually reduces traffic.
Yeah, you leave and coming every
Oh,
day.
your
I don't
carbon
leave
footprint
a commode.
is very minimal.
It may increase the septic loading a little bit, but that's about it. So we ready?
We're ready.
Move to adjourn.
Got a second? Chuck seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can we discuss?
No.
Bill,